It's a good thing that everyone is raising their voice from a non now, but at the same time, it's sad that there was nobody to speak up for Alexandra when she was going through those extreme situations. She was left to deal with it all alone. Once upon a time, I came home from school one day and turned on the TV just like any other normal kid, and somehow ended up in a channel called Arirang. There was this show called Showbiz Korea, and I was immediately captivated. I didn't understand a single word of Korean, but I saw clips of music videos from groups like B1A4, Beast, FX, and TVXQ. I was staring at the screen wondering what universe did these people come from. Like, my tiny brain was convinced that I was looking at real-life anime characters. Because before that, I had only ever seen guys like that in anime.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Yup.
This was years ago, back when Gangnam Style was a few months away from blowing up. Eventually, Gangnam Style did blow up, and everyone in my school was dancing. My seniors were doing the horse dance in the hallways. It was terrible. But it felt like I had discovered a secret world before the entire planet decided to move in. So after that whole hype, I only ever watched that show every once in a while until I forgot about that channel entirely. So a couple of years later, sometime in 2015, one night I was bored and out of nowhere I remembered a video I had seen on that show and wanted to find that again. It was Warrior by B.A.p. And next in recommendation list was We Are Bulletproof Part 2 by BTS.
He needs some milk.
When I played it, boy was I hooked. The music and the performance was so high energy that I couldn't look away. I spent the first few minutes like a confused raccoon, wondering why a bunch of kids were allowed to make music that went this hard.
Damn, bruh, hold up, wait a second, bruh.
So being the curious George that I am, I did the research. Couple weeks later, I became a hardcore fan, just like any other teenager. I wouldn't miss any song, any performance, any interview, any award show. Like, I would watch them live from the comfort of my own home.
I see you, and I love you.
I started 2 Instagram fan accounts and a YouTube channel that got like 50,000 subscribers, all from making funny edits. I made friends from around the world through this fandom. I even learned the Korean language, which is one of the many useless skills I have. Yeah, I should have learned Japanese instead. Back then, BTS wasn't the global giant they are today. They were struggling bad, like really bad. Big Hit was a tiny company, but BTS had raw talent. And I don't know, there's something about seeing someone build their way up from nothing and with absolute talent attracts me. I saw their genuine, young and wild free spirits that had dreams of proving themselves to the world and becoming big. I didn't just fall in love with their music or because they were funny. I fell in love with their struggle. Their lyrics that resonated with my mind. You can see the lyrics of N.O, No More Dream, Bulletproof, Tomorrow, Run, Let Me Know, or any other song from Dark and Wild or The Most Beautiful Moment in Life albums. I saw myself in those songs. I felt the lyrics deeply. And at that time period, I was going through a real heartbreak. It was devastating for me. Coupled with school stuff and all, I was almost depressed. So in that position, listening to lyrics that caters to my specific emotions, that fits so well with what I was feeling at that time, helped me to regain my confidence, deal with my reality, and move on, and do better. I know, it may sound a bit corny, but come on, I was a young teen back then, and by default, misunderstood by the world. So K-pop wasn't just a pop music to me. It was a mental support system. But looking back now, I realize the industry is a lot darker than what I wanted to see. I have to talk about B.A.p because why isn't anybody talking about them? So B.A.p debuted in 2012 with Warrior, bringing an aggressive hip-hop sound that made almost every other group look soft. People really expected them to be the next big thing, because they had that insane street energy that was so different from the usual flowery concept. They were one of the OG powerhouses. In 2014, they won the Best Korean Act, defeating BTS. They had the talent and the momentum to be legendary, but they weren't lucky. Their management at TS Entertainment failed them in ways that are hard to even talk about. The members were forced to perform while they were sick. Fans even spotted Band-Aid on one of the member Daehyun's wrist from IV drips while he was on stage. They ended up in a massive legal battle because the company was making millions while the members were barely paid anything.
This is giving me very much slave, very much shackles.
That lawsuit killed their momentum, and they eventually disbanded. What's even worse is that a genuine mama trophy belonging to B.A.P was recently found for sale at a flea market in the Philippines. It was being sold for basically pocket change because the company threw it away.
I promise you, when I catch you, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch you in your mouth, your throat, and your solar plex. Then I'm going to throw you on the ground and commence to stomping your face into the cement. Be prepared.
Like, imagine winning one of the biggest awards in music just for your agency to dump it in the trash like it's a piece of junk. That's just insulting. It shows how little these companies care about the blood and sweat these idols put in once the money stops flowing. It makes me realize that in this industry, talent alone is never enough to stay. Success is a lottery. I mean, did you know that BTS was also on the verge of disbanding because Big Hit was over 10 billion won in debt? If I Need You hadn't become a hit, the company would have collapsed and we wouldn't even be talking about them right now. Scary how much power these companies have over these people's lives. And even after disbandment, things stay messy. We see scandals popping up years later. Him Chan from B.A.P has been convicted of multiple counts of SA over the last few years, or like the stuff involving Taeyil or the Burning Sun scandal. It really pulls back the curtain on that whole perfect idol fantasy they sell us.
Lies, lies, and more lies, and lies on top of lies.
We start to see the shiny, high-definition version of these groups is often just a cover for a lot of internal rot. This brings me to a pattern I've noticed over the last decade. K-pop loves to talk about being global, but they have a big problem with actual diversity, specifically how they treat the people of color. We're seeing it right now with all the drama surrounding Manon from Katseye. Fans were noticing that she was missing from billboards and performances long before any official words came out. There are tons of gossip channels already talking about it, so I'm not gonna go there, but this isn't a news story.
There's more. Hang on to your seat, baby.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but back in 2015, K-pop had its first ever black member of a mainstream group, Alexandra Reid.
안녕하세요, 알렉스입니다. 한국에서 활동해서 너무 좋아요.
Alex was a professional singer with years of dance training and songwriting experience when she joined the K-pop group b.a.p Rania in 2015. However, her experience was a nightmare. She was consistently sidelined and basically treated like a guest in her own group. She was left out of choreography, wardrobe decisions, group activity, and so much more. The staff refused to do her hair or makeup. Salons didn't have her foundation shade. Staffs pressured Alex to straighten her natural hair because they claimed they didn't know how to work with her hair type.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
So she was waking up 4 a.m. every single morning just to do her own hair because the people who were literally paid to style her simply refused. When she spoke up about basic things like asking for a meal after working a 10-hour day, she was labeled as having diva behavior. On top of all of that, she was held to a higher standard than other members and faced accusations of artificially lightening her skin to appear more white and of appropriating Korean culture simultaneously.
This is the worst!
Like, she literally couldn't win either way. In the end, situations became extremely toxic and unhealthy for her, so she left Rania voluntarily in 2017.
Do you think in the future other K-pop groups will include non-Asian members?
I sure hope so, you know? I get a lot of people asking me questions, like should I audition, or I don't know if I'll be accepted because of my skin. But the thing is, you can't control your skin, and you also can't control if somebody accepts you or if somebody picks you. You can't control any of that. But what you can control is doing what you can do to put yourself in a position where you're a good prospect. So I think talent is at the very least undeniable. So if you work really, really hard, and you put yourself out there, then at least you know that you did everything that you can do.
Okay, Rania later on rebrands as Blackswan. And guess what decides to repeat itself? So in Blackswan, another black member named Fatou began facing eerily similar treatment. She has been missing from group activities and the allegations of mistreatments are everywhere. Basically, it's a cycle. The industry seems to love the edge of black culture. They want the hip-hop aesthetic, the street style, but they struggle to show basic respect to POC idols. It feels like they want the clout without the actual person.
Why? This is business. This is my sweat. I know, but I did business. Shut up!
Don't get me wrong when I say this, but seeing the industry for over 10 years gives me a really bad gut feeling about Manon. It feels so similar to what happened to Alex. I wouldn't be surprised if Manon had already left the group behind the scenes. I mean, we don't know for sure, and I'm not putting any allegations. I believe whatever she does, her health and her well-being are the only things that matter.
Katseye's Manon finally responds to not performing at Coachella. Let's take a look. Manon was caught at Coachella during Sabrina Carpenter's set. And also last night, Manon posted this Instagram story of her at Coachella, thanking her followers for 6 million. And also, she's hinting at this new light brown hair, which I assume was supposed to be her new hair for the new Katseye era before they dropped her. And honestly, it's crazy how all the Katseye girls work together, but like, not really. Honestly, it's giving Manon is not coming back to Katseye because, I'm sorry, but that is crazy. To be at the event you're supposed to be performing at and not being able to perform. Like at that point, Hybe and Geffen are trying to humiliate Manon as much as possible, and I'm not with it at all.
It's a good thing that everyone is raising their voice for Manon now, but at the same time, it's sad that there was nobody to speak up for Alexandra when she was going through those extreme situations. She was left to deal with it all alone. The thing that finally pushed me away from K-pop though wasn't only the industry culture, it was the fandom.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
I said, damn, bitch.
Around 2018, the crush wave I had started to fade and reality kicked in. I started seeing how unhinged the communities had become. The fandom wars were toxic as hell, especially the constant fighting between BTS and EXO fans. It turned into personal attacks in the DMs for people. I had my fair share of unnecessary arguments over things I don't even remember anymore. I don't know how things are now, but back then, if you stand K-pop, you're not allowed to criticize anything. If you point out anything or decide to go against the flow, even with good faith, your own fandom will tear you apart. The turn everything into profit attitude from the companies just fuels this.
Your behavior is absolute filth. We just want to be able to read you for the trash that you are.
The extreme parasocial relationships gave me the biggest ick. Companies sell these private text subscriptions like Bubble, which basically makes the fans feel like they own the idol.
Are you serious right now, bro?
I've seen clips of fans doing things that are mad terrifying.
You haven't seen this yet? Oh my god, I'm gonna fill you in. So there's this K-pop boy band called ATs, and you know, they're all like sexy K-pop boys, whatever. And there's this one guy in there named Mingi, and this girl brings a poster to the concert just for him, just for Mingi. And it says, Mingi, I didn't come here just to fangirl. I came here to leave myself in your dreams. If you feel it too, wave to me. Fix on me.
Huh?
She's pretty close to the stage, so he sees the sign. That's him. And it's not him seeing the sign. It's what she has to say about him seeing the sign. The glasses go down, the lock onto the sign, considering and thinking as I challenge. I didn't scream his name, I was stillness in a sea of madness.
Imagine you're on a stage with hundreds of people cheering in front of you, and one person is standing completely still, staring directly into your soul. I would honestly think that person came here to unsubscribe me from the earth.
He feels it too and acknowledges with a finger gun point and a smirk.
What finger gun? He's looking in a different direction. This is like seeing the UFOs hiding in the clouds level of delusion.
And then later on in the concert, he acknowledges her again. He just like looks at her, right? And she says, my sign was not out. I wasn't screaming. In the sea of madness, he found me, the calm in the storm. And even as he walked out, he did one last glance to lock eyes again. I can't even read this one. The wolf found his prey once. Let's see if he can again.
No, I think Ming is the prey here.
Meanwhile, people are saying he's going, security! People are saying this is her in the crowd. And she's sharing the text between her friend. Oh my god. I stood still and challenged him back. And here's what she has to say.
Saying something that you're planning to keep for yourself blowing up, but let's be honest here. That look, that stare, those glasses going down that point, that wasn't the crowd. That was for me.
I love when girls are delusional. I aspire to be this delusional. Hell yeah.
Okay, so some people were commenting that this girl is 35 with a husband. I don't know, if this is true, then she needs serious therapy. Because you simply cannot come up to a concert and then go to social media and claim that the idol's basic gesture wasn't for the crowd, it was for you.
Are you dumb? Are you fucking dumb?
This is extremely unhealthy and lab test worthy delusional. Like, loving an artist is okay, obsession is not.
K-pop stan, which means you say OMG, I say OMO, you say crush, I say bias, you say youngest, I say Mangnet, you say legend, I say BTS.
I'm an army girl in the Bangtan world. My life fantastic, full of likes. If you can best finger, but you can best our boy. Cause I will punch you or I will kill you.
And this is only the cringe side. The documented Sasaeng stuff is way worse. People collecting idol waste from restrooms or relieving themselves outside hotel doors to mark territory is biological warfare.
Ew, you nasty ass! You fucking nasty ass! It's nasty, man! Ew!
One crazy fan even sent Taekyon from 2 p.m. a letter in her vampire juice. Another Sasaeng spiked their favorite idol's rival artist by adding Gorilla Glue to their drink. Other incidents include breaking into hotel rooms, hiding cameras in hotel rooms, LARPing real-life GTA by chasing the idols' cars that had serious consequences. Someone even gave the restroom seat a tongue wash because Jimin used it.
Excuse me.
You don't believe, but I once heard about a fan who made herself see the heavens while screaming Suga's name, recorded it and sent it to Suga. And these are just the ones I have come across when I was in the fandom. I mean, this is bizarre. Since when? I mean, since when did we decide that being a fan means stripping another human being of their dignity?
Oh my god! Is this who we are? Is this what we represent?
Never eating here again! Take that smirk off your face! I want to speak to your man!
Why are we shaving our whole ass to go see BTS in person? BTS performed in my area recently and a bunch of my homegirls went, and some of them are just feral. What do you mean you got a full Brazilian wax to see Jungkook in person? What level of delusion are you on, girl? You have a crazy amount of confidence. These international superstars probably see beautiful women all the time and you're like, I think I'm the one for them. Also, girl, don't you have a whole ass boyfriend? I guess don't let him stop you from finding your husband, I guess.
I said, damn, bitch!
Well, I eventually left the whole fandom world to keep my sanity and focus on my studies. I still listen to the music, and I still have the friends I met 10 years ago. And they too grew out of that fangirl era. We've all grown up. I watch the controversies from the surface now, the scandals, the rumors, the corporate drama, but I never engage with the chaos. I've learned that you can appreciate the art without being the loudest person in the room. You don't need to invite arguments to enjoy a song. K-pop gave me a lot when I was a struggling teen. But it also taught me that when a community starts demanding your mental health in exchange for belonging, it's time to walk away.